All right, welcome in everybody to the Gametime and Headlines podcast. This is episode 1. I'm your host PJ with our co-host JSwear.
What's up?
And this is episode 1, just getting started. And we're bringing something different. We want to bring something new, a little bit more sports focused, but there's also the headlines part. So we'll be talking a little bit about some
Get into it.
Yeah, other news, other events. A little random at times, but just want to have fun, casual, nothing crazy. We're not trying to be ESPN. We're not trying to be nothing like that. Just want to have a conversation. We're going to talk sports. We'll talk fantasy. We'll talk. There may be chances times when we talk anime. Who knows, right?
It'll happen.
But we're gonna run through this. So we're starting a little bit behind. Not the time frame we originally planned. We were trying to do this a week ago, but just with our schedules and still getting everything in order, we had to wait a little bit. So we're getting into it now. Finishing week 2 of the NFL week or week 2 of the NFL season, going into week 3. So we're gonna have a quick discussion on week 1, week 2, and go into week 3. Right. So real quick, James. Week 1. I was hyped about it. I was excited for football. I've been waiting forever.
I was excited as well, but it left me wanting for sure.
For sure. So going into it, what are a couple things you took from it? Like, who were your MVPs, or what was the highlight of the week for you?
So, I mean, if we're talking MVP, hey, you got to go to Tyreek Hill and just the crazy first game that he had. 11 receptions on 15 targets, 215 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Wild.
Just
wild.
I mean, I thought that people probably had Mike McDaniels figured out because at the end of the year, the Dolphins didn't look too good, but he came up with a new scheme, and Tyreek, he just makes everybody look slow.
For sure. I had Tyreek Hill. So, we talked about it earlier. Me and James are making sure we don't share our notes. We want to have this as real of a conversation as possible, you know. So, I didn't know who he picked, but I did pick Tyreek for the exact same reason, so I don't need to go too deep. I will say this. Not only am I impressed with Tyreek, and he is the MVP, I am impressed with Tua.
Definitely.
Tua, I know he had a decent year. I know he had head injuries last year and all that stuff, but I didn't see him as an elite quarterback.
No.
And I'm not going to say he's there yet, but he's impressive.
He's getting close.
You look at a lot of the catches for that Tyreek had. I mean, and Waddle. I mean,
and if you look at if getting into next week, but I mean, he has the best stats so far.
For sure.
When everybody else is kind of.
For sure. And of course, Tyreek helps that.
Yeah.
But he's got to get Tyreek the ball.
Yeah.
And Tyreek is, 4 feet tall, and I mean, he's getting the man the ball. So that's very impressive.
Pretty much any time.
I'll start off with who I was impressed with defensively.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not fanboying. Y'all won't hear this all the time. But definitely Micah Parsons. Micah, and I chose to go with week 1 versus week 2. It just what the team did as a whole, and him being the leader of the team, to shut out the Giants, 40-0. And let's be honest, defense carried.
Oh, by far. I mean, the offense came, but
yeah,
it didn't look that great.
The offense showed up.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything crazy. They played a game.
And they didn't have to. And
yes.
Dak didn't have any interceptions, and that's all any Cowboys fan could ask for.
100%.
So I mean, yeah. my defensive MVP was the whole Dallas Cowboys.
All right.
Defense, I mean, you put up a goose egg on the Giants, put up 2 touchdowns, and just completely dismantle them. Like, they couldn't do anything. They had Daniel Jones out there seeing ghosts, Micah Parsons, Lawrence, everybody. Like, they were just destroying them. There was nobody else that had a dominant performance like the Cowboys did in the first week. So it just had to go to them.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Now, to kind of switch it up a little bit, game of the week, I thought, I honestly thought, and I don't want to go with Cowboys, I don't want to go with Cowboys again, but I really enjoyed Eagles and Patriots. I did enjoy the Eagles and Patriots game. It was a solid game. No, you know what? Let me reverse. Chiefs and Lions. Chiefs and Lions kicked off the season, and I think it was the perfect game. It was very, very back and forth. It was a battle. I was low key rooting for the Lions a little bit, but
Oh, I was big time
yeah,
rooting for the
I
Lions.
do like Mahomes, so I like Kelsey and Mahomes a little bit. So a lot of times I root for the Chiefs. But when I saw what the Lions were bringing to the table, I was like, it's a shame that a team that struggles so much year after year, to watch them lose a game like that. But I thought it was a fantastic game. It was a competitive game, a great way to open the season, in my opinion.
It was, and it was good. Back and forth. Mahomes didn't have Kelsey, which was a big factor, and those Chiefs wide receivers couldn't hold on to a ball to save their life.
Tony,
So
or Tone. What is it? Tone?
I don't know.
Tony,
Kadarius
whatever.
Toney. Nobody could catch anything, and both of the defenses, which I thought it was going to be like a super high scoring game based on last year, and
For
both
sure.
those defenses you could do whatever you want to,
For sure.
and they both showed up, which definitely added to the competitive nature.
Agree.
My game of the week, going back to the high score and high flying, Miami Dolphins and the Los Angeles Chargers.
That was a good game.
Where the Chargers lose like only the Chargers can. They don't ever seem like they can get it together. But, 36-34. I was hoping more of the games of week one were going to be like that, but it was a defensive struggle really throughout the league. But always fun to see all those touchdowns going up.
For sure.
See Kellen Moore put together the new offense in LA. And also then to see Mike McDaniels and just how his scheme is just insane. So any Miami Dolphins game get to watch is a treat. So that was my game of the week.
Definitely. Was there a game that you were disappointed in?
A game I was disappointed
And
in.
I'll put you on the spot.
I'm gonna go with the Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans. The Ravens won by 16, but it was a sloppy, ugly game.
For sure.
Mark Andrews was out. Zay Flowers, he had like 10 catches and looked amazing for the Ravens. But overall, I was expecting more to come out of Lamar and company, and
sure.
didn't really see it.
For sure. With me, I would definitely say, you probably see it different. You could see it differently, right? But I would say the Bengals and the Browns, and it's more because the Bengals definitely expected a lot out of Joe Burrow, and I with T Higgins, to see the squad, Jamar Chase and T Higgins, and I just expected something special.
Yeah,
they
didn't do anything.
Nothing, and we probably could say the same about week 2, but. It was just disappointing. That's a team that I enjoy watching. That's a quarterback I enjoy watching. So yeah.
Yeah,
well,
and with Jamar Chase on a lot of my fantasy football teams, it also hurts my soul.
T Higgins for me. He was supposed to be my sleeper. But yeah, so really we'll break away from week 1 again. Just a quick recap because we didn't get to do anything for that. And let's go into the week we just finished. So week 2 had a lot of great games.
Yes.
It was a great weekend as a whole. And I'll start off with who you thought was your offensive MVP.
Oh, my offensive MVP goes to Puka Nacua of the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay.
He showed up in the first week as well, but in the second week, on 20 targets, 15 catches, and 147 yards, and also 2 carries for 4 yards.
Yeah.
Like, he did it week 1, and it was kind of like, okay, it's a rookie. Will it happen again? It happened again.
For sure.
And Sean McVay, and how he's essentially kind of like in the Cooper Kupp role right now, where he's just getting funneled all of the targets. But, he's making it work. So,
for sure.
Yeah, Puka Nacua for sure.
I got to go with who we shouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with the track record over the last year and with a lot of the changes, I'm going with Mike Evans. Mike Evans has been having a field day. I'm surprised with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, the big show showing up.
Baker Mayfield showing up, and you're hearing all the reports that he's able to read these defenses, and he's bringing a lot to the table that they weren't expecting.
It's almost like he was a number 1 overall pick
right?
or something.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought that he wasn't he top in the top 16 rounds?
Yeah.
To be to be the number 1, not to break away from Mike, but to be the number 1 pick a couple of years ago and watch everything he's battled with. I almost thought he was going to take from a football perspective the Johnny Manziel route. where just
Yeah.
no one was going to want him. And Tampa Bay desperately took a shot at him, and I think it paid off.
Oh, definitely.
Watching him play with them, it looks like he's got a breath of fresh air. Again, him and Mike are dominating right now.
They're killing it.
Because when I'm watching Mike Evans play this many years in the league, it looks like the old Jameis Winston, Mike Evans days. It looks like the first year of Tom Brady.
Yeah, it looks
Mike
like he
Evans.
got fresh legs out
Yeah,
there.
like brand new guy. So I'm loving it. I'm not a big fan of Mike Evans or the Bucks, but to watch what he's doing right now, it's just enjoyable. It's very fun to watch.
And I mean, going back to like training camp and stuff, they were talking about, oh, Mike Evans, he's having a great training camp. He looks like a completely different person. And you're always like, yeah, okay, let's go ahead and keep hyping up your team. But yeah, he's definitely showing it.
Yeah, 171 yards, 1 TD, and then 6 for 6. 6 for 6 in receiving and catches. So it was very dominant in my opinion. It was very interesting to say the least. So yeah, that's my guy. What about you defensively?
Defensively, I don't even remember what defensive struggle that I saw that I was like, yeah, that's it this week. I don't know. You got yours?
I got mine. My defensive MVP, TJ Watt. TJ Watt popped off. I hate the Steelers. But TJ Watt popped off, and it was fun to see. I mean, he's one of the top 3. I'm going to throw Micah in there. I still think Micah's got a couple of years to really show himself.
Yeah.
I'm hearing from everywhere, even the Cowboy haters, that he's Hall of Fame bound. If he stays on this road, yes, but I still think it's too early. So I definitely still put TJ Watt ahead. And watching what he did this past week, scoring a defensive touchdown, the sacks, all that good stuff. Just he's dominant. He's dominant. And of course, his brother tweets about him, but that's his brother, so.
Yeah,
I can't take his opinion, but I also can't say he's wrong.
Right.
So yeah, that's my guy, TJ.
I'm going with the team defense again.
Okay.
And talked about them in week 1 in their defense against the Lions, but the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
Because Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley, Travis Etienne, all those guys were balling out in week 1. Mm-hmm. And they didn't score a touchdown. They had 3 field goals. And that Chiefs defense, Chris Jones, their main defensive end, came back, which helped as well. But like that defense, once again, we're used to seeing all those big numbers put up on the board for anybody playing against the Chiefs, and it ain't happening right now.
For sure,
the defense is showing up as a whole because Chris Jones is definitely one of their centerpieces, but everybody's doing their part.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean, I can't disagree. Again, Kansas City. To me, either side of the ball, it's amazing. It's amazing what Andy Reid has there. It's honestly amazing what Kansas City's going to have for the next 3-4 years. In my opinion, I think they're going to be in the Super Bowl at least 2 times in the next 4 years.
I mean, you got Patty Mahomes. You got a chance.
You can't ever roll him out. You can never roll him out. So yeah. Again, I think almost every week we could pick somebody out of Kansas City. We could pick the teams as a whole. And no one can really argue with you unless they just have a horrible. Even against the Lions in week 1, it was still fun to watch. They still played great.
No.
Okay, so what is your? Or I'll go first on this one. Play of the week, the play of the week, and it was just amazing for me to see. Never seen it before. I'm sure it's happened plenty of times, but when we watched Brendan Schooler from the Pats block the field goal against the Dolphins, he came running from almost the sidelines. It looked like a pickup game. It looked like a flag football game when you had that kid hiding in the corner and then takes off down the field and gets a catch for a touchdown. Watching him do that was crazy. I was shocked, and I'm not gonna lie. Part of me wondered if it was legal. I had to definitely wait and see if anything was gonna be called.
Yeah, no, that was crazy. My play of the week goes to Atlanta and Bijan Robinson. He just juked some fools out of their ankles on the one play. The 2 people, defenders, he just made them look silly.
Yep.
And with the rookies coming in, you never know if they're going to live up to the hype. And right now, he is living up to the hype and looking like he's faster than everybody else on the field.
I can't argue. I think to add to that, Atlanta's looking impressive. Ritter is balling out.
He's doing all right.
Yeah, I mean, he's not amazing. But I thought this was a throwaway year.
Yeah.
I definitely thought this was a throwaway
He's
year.
doing good as a bus driver for sure.
And, I mean, I'm watching him throw some bombs. He threw some bombs. It doesn't hurt. I will say this. I was stuck between Bijan and Mike. So I'm glad I didn't pick Bijan because, obviously UT too. That's my boy. So I stayed away from that a little bit. But Bijan's very, very fun to watch. I wish he was on my fantasy team. He's just because it's a homer thing, picking my Texas boys. So it would have been nice to have him. And to be honest, when we were drafting, I didn't even think about him. And I wish I would have. I wish I would have for sure. Game of the week. You started off.
Game of the week. Once again, gonna go with another high scoring. Seattle Seahawks and Detroit Lions going into overtime.
Okay.
37-31, Seattle wins. Seattle really had to show up because they lost week 1. They did not look very good. Geno didn't look very good after having his ball-in season last year.
Uh-huh.
So there's a lot of hype coming in, especially with the Lions beating the Chiefs in week 1. But the Seahawks stepped up, said, hey, we've been here. We know what we're doing, know what we're about. And Geno stepped up. Ken Walker had a couple touchdowns and looked a lot more consistent and back to their true form from last year.
Yeah, I definitely root for Geno. I want to see Geno succeed. It's almost a Baker Mayfield story.
Yep.
It's fun to watch him play. He can turn it. He can go cold a little bit, but it's still fun to watch him.
Yeah, and I was not a Seattle fan at all, but when Geno came on the scene, hey, all about it.
Why not? Especially to watch dangerous not be there and watch his struggles. It definitely speaks more to the organization.
Yep.
The coaching staff.
Pete Carroll holding it down.
I mean, Pete Carroll, he's pushing 100 years old. He looks like he's like 60, but I know he's like I think he's like 80. I think he's like one of the oldest.
He's
one
up
of the
there.
oldest coaches in the league. So definitely. So I feel that. My game of the week. Can I step out the box a little bit?
Of course.
Go Buffs, baby. I gotta go with Colorado. I gotta go with college football. As much as I love the NFL and chat. I said chat. I'm used to streaming.
Yeah, whatever.
Guys, as much as I love the NFL and I love the NBA, I am not a huge college sports fan.
Me neither.
I watch Texas and I watch it casually. I watch Texas if I'm home. I don't rush home to watch Texas.
Never. Except back in the 2000s.
This year, the Buffaloes got me watching college football. And I got to say, the game of the week, I don't care what sport it was that game. It was a
100%.
Super Bowl event. Celebrities. Week 3? Week 3 in the college the college football, and to see the event that was thrown and the hype behind it live up to it.
The Rock, Master P,
Come on.
Lil Wayne bringing them out.
Wheezy.
Weezy
brought them out like they were boxers. This was a pay-per-view event on what was it, ESPN?
You know who else was there?
Who?
Kawhi Leonard.
And
he don't even show up to his own team
Chauncey
games.
Billups, Kyle Lowry. Offset?
They're Offset. You can't even tell me the last. I bet no other time in Colorado's history have they ever had that celebrity status in that building at one time.
I can't tell. I don't know if any college.
Well, there's that.
I don't know if any college. The Rock showed up.
The Rock.
I smelt it. The Rock showed up, and man, when he showed up, like I used to love The Rock watching wrestling when I was a kid.
How could you not?
So watching him and seeing him show up just magnified the how important that game was.
Yeah.
How important that organization is, that school. I'm not gonna say organization, but that school. How important it's become for them to disrupt what's going on in the college arena.
Yes,
to
in
watch,
the best way possible.
Yeah, to watch Deion do what he's doing, to watch his sons and Travis Hunter. And unfortunately, Travis Hunter getting cheap shotted, getting hurt,
super dirty.
But again, they're kids, so gonna show a little bit. Gonna be all right with Colorado State, but that definitely was a dirty play. But just watching what was done, the game in general, and Colorado State showed up.
Yep,
Colorado State showed up.
Everybody came to play.
It was a game. It could have been a blowout, an exciting blowout, but it was an exciting triple overtime.
Yep.
Right. And I'll be honest, not being a big college guy,
Mhm.
I didn't know they ran overtime the
Oh,
way they did.
that's the best way.
That
Like,
was
that's the thing
great.
that they do right that the NFL
Yeah,
should be doing. It doesn't
100%.
make any sense why they
Not
haven't
only the
adopted it yet.
NFL, soccer. Stop ending the football with a football. Stop ending these games in ties and go do that. Let someone shoot a shot from 40 yards away or something, right? Like, it was impressive. It was
Yes.
impressive. I've definitely became a college. I mean, again, I casually have always been a UT fan, but I definitely became a college football fan this year. And it's just because of the hype, the energy, just to see people who don't watch sports watch it, to see celebrities who don't normally go to college games showing up. I'm used to some of some Bama having celebrities there. I'm used to,
Right.
but to see someone like Colorado, small. I'm not gonna say small, but definitely not a team that was ever on the map.
Oh yeah, they're not one of those big market teams that
sure.
people are going to watch.
And I can-
especially after going 1-11 last year.
100%.
Like, I don't know the last time they've had a winning season.
Yeah. So unexpectedly, not really on the plan. Part of the plan. We were sticking with NFL, but it was just
I haven't stayed up that late for a game in a while.
2 a.m.
So
And we're old men, and James, we're old men. But I definitely took a little nap at halftime. I took a little nap. I woke up and
it's too exciting to
yeah,
take a nap at halftime.
I woke up, saw it was 12:30, and the game was still on. I was like, perfect. I sat up and finished it. So that was my pick. That was my pick for game of the week. Again, not NFL related, but definitely worthy of that spot.
Maybe one of these times we can get Shador to come on with us because
Yeah.
I mean, little background. I was his principal for his sophomore to senior year.
Okay.
So
I didn't know that. That's dope. That's dope.
See what we can do.
All right. So really, then that covers week 1 and week 2. Definitely exciting week 2. I think week 2 was definitely more interesting than week 1. Other than I do believe the Cowboys shutting out the Giants was unexpected.
Yep.
I do believe the Chiefs and Lions were not gonna. I don't think anybody thought that game was gonna be that close.
No.
And that interesting. So we're going to week 3. Week 3 predictions. So this is kind of where we're gonna start going. Normally with this podcast, we're gonna start with the week before and go straight into the next week. But because we were a little bit behind, we wanted to cover week 1, 2. So we're going into week 3, and we're gonna start with our first game of the week, which is tomorrow.
Night.
Which is tomorrow, Thursday night, or y'all may be seeing this and it's tonight.
Yeah.
But the New York Giants at San Francisco 49ers. Look, you're not crazy. There's not much to be said here. The 49ers are going to sweep the Giants.
I mean, Saquon Barkley's out.
Yes.
The Giants have looked like hot garbage.
Yes.
The only reason they won week 2 against the Cardinals because they're tanking.
Definitely.
Because they were up 20-0 at halftime, and then the Giants came back. So
Yes.
yeah, no, they're about to get smacked on Thursday Night Football.
As much as they've shown to be a second half team with week 2 only.
Yep.
Week 1, they didn't show to be a team at all. But I just don't. Yeah, I don't think they have it. I think the 49ers are still one of the top teams. It's hard for me to say that, but I do think they're possibly all around the best team in the NFL. It's as much as I want to choose my own team offensively. What Brock's doing is still impressive.
Got CMC on the mic.
Yeah. Watching McCaffrey, man, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And their defense is always good.
Always, and that's what's tough. That's what's tough. Being a Cowboy fan, loving what Micah's doing, but still seeing that other guy, that other team that looks like they're still holding it a little bit over us. It's tough, but I gotta admit it. So yeah, definitely think it's 49ers.
Yeah, I agree. 49ers all the way.
Not much more to be said, huh?
No, not at all. Next game we got Sunday is going to be New Orleans Saints and the Green Bay Packers. I think this one's going to be an interesting game.
Agree.
New Orleans coming in 2-0. Green Bay's coming in, I believe they're 1-1. Jordan Love has been playing relatively well with Aaron Rodgers being gone. Hopefully Aaron Jones comes back to help him out. New Orleans Saints and Derek Carr. Derek Carr kind of reviving his career a little bit with New Orleans. And they're playing just solid football on both ends. Maybe it's the bias in me, but I want to go the New Orleans Saints winning this game versus Green Bay.
I am going to go with New Orleans. I'm going to go with New Orleans. We have physical notes, and I'm just starting. I'm living off technology still. I'm living off technology. Yes,
Oh.
the next game after the Giants and the Niners is the Saints and the Packers. You said the Saints. I agree. I say the Saints. I think Carr definitely has a chip on his shoulder. He's got to show up. He's got to show up. The energy he brought to New Orleans in general, and the excitement he's bringing back. I think
And being able to escape the Raiders organization and Mark Davis, that crazy owner,
for sure. And he's got to live up to it too.
Yeah.
It's proving that you still are a top 10, top 15 quarterback in the league. And I think you're in a good organization to do it. And it's fun. It's fun watching New Orleans be I know they lost, but they played.
Yeah.
They played decently. They played good. And to be honest, I never thought. I was watching a little bit of it. I don't think I watched it in depth, but I was watching a little, and at one point I was like, they're able to play without Sean Payton.
Oh yeah,
that's impressive.
Yeah,
because again, there's times when you look at the coach Pete Carroll and say he's why they're successful.
Right.
But I'm looking at New Orleans like they got a good team.
Yeah,
they got a good team. They got a good offense.
One more week and Alvin Kamara comes back from suspension, and that's another game changer.
And my fantasy team is ready for it. Is ready for it. All right, so jumping straight into the next one, it's the Los Angeles Chargers at the Minnesota Vikings.
This game should be wild.
Agree.
Because both of these defenses are trash.
Yep.
So if this game is like over 60 points overall, like I would not be surprised at all. It's probably really going to come down to like a defensive stop if they can make one, or whoever has the ball last to be able to put some points on the board.
Definitely.
You got Keenan Allen and Mike Williams on one side, and then you got Justin Jefferson and the ascending Jordan Addison on the other side. Like,
toss up.
I'm a toss up. I'll go with the Vikings just because I like J-Jet, but it really could go either way.
All right, so usually it looks like the last three games we've been on the same page. I was gonna say the Vikings, but because you chose the Vikings first, I'll take the Chargers.
Fair enough.
I think it's the same thing. I think it's a toss up. If I have to say that there's gonna be one person that shines in this game, it's gonna be JJ. Yeah. I got Justin Jefferson showing out. He was frustrated last week. He's had some drop passes. He had a easy touchdown he should have had. He pulled the Des Bryant and it wasn't a catch. Dez's was.
Definitely.
So definitely going with the Chargers. I'll take the Chargers. I'll take the Chargers, just split it, and maybe you and I we'll put a little food wager or something on that one to make it more interesting for us.
Sounds good. Next game, New England Patriots and the New York Jets.
I gotta go Patriots. I'm gonna keep it simple. As long as Zach Wilson is your quarterback. And you know what? I feel for Zach Wilson. And the reason I feel for Zach, I don't feel for him as a quarterback. I feel for him as a person. I have never seen so many shows, so many commentators just bash the kid.
Yeah. And he is just a kid.
And he's saying exactly what I am. They're saying exactly what I'm about to say. As long as he's the quarterback, they're not going anywhere. And I got to feel like if I'm sitting on my couch as a quarterback of a team, knowing millions have watched me, knowing I'm going to be analyzed, and knowing I love the sport, so I'm watching TV.
And knowing that you lost your job.
Yes,
you only have it because of a catastrophic injury.
Yes, you lost your job to a 75-year-old QB, and his ankles showed it. His legs showed it. No. In all seriousness, Zach Wilson, he has moments that are fun, and I think a lot of it has to do with his wide receiver core. I don't think it's him. It's the yak. Definitely the yards after the catch that's impressive for the Jets, but there's no consistency with Zach Wilson. He's playing. He's not even playing at a college level.
No.
So it's tough to watch him. I think his morale has gone down. I think it becomes more. Again, I think it's more of his psyche than his talent. I think the talent's there. I think his decision making's rough. I think he's nervous. He's just that guy. He's DeAndre Jordan at the free throw line. He's Shaq at the free throw line. He's Dwight Howard.
It just ain't gonna happen.
You're not gonna be able to do it. It's in your head already.
I mean, I just have two words: Bill Belichick.
100.
I can't. He's a defensive mastermind, and with a quarterback like Zach Wilson on the other side, there's really not anything they're gonna be able to do. For sure. And Mac Jones is all right. Yeah, he's all right.
He's gonna be all right. My MVP. Nah, no MVP for this game, but I want Zeke to do good. I want Zeke to do good. I want Zeke to do good. I want Zeke. Next up, we got Broncos. Broncos at the Dolphins.
I don't feel like there's much to say here
Not
either.
at all.
Russell
At all.
Wilson is Russell Wilson.
And Tyreek is Tyreek right now.
And the Denver Broncos defense a little beat up. They ain't been able to stop the Washington Commanders and Sam Howell last week. You definitely ain't going to be able to stop Tua and Tyreek.
For sure.
This one,
Tyreek is incredible. We already talked about him being my MVP for week 2 or week 1, week 2, but right now I don't know how he's not the MVP. It talks of being the MVP. I know we want to go with QBs all the time.
Yeah,
what he's doing is incredible. I mean, 200 yards, multiple touchdowns.
He's gonna have another 200-yard.
He's a monster
this time as well.
And he's a monster, man. And not only that, but he's doing it consistently. He did it the minute. I don't look. The Chiefs would be back to back.
Should have kept him. Should have paid him. Should have paid the man.
Yeah, they got one more without him, and I'm sure they feel good. But as many as you,
they could be running circles around everybody.
It's Steve Nash leaving the Mavericks, right? What it could have been. What it could have been.
Heartbreaking. Yeah, the picks obviously the Dolphins. You can't not.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't have anything to add to it, to be honest.
All right, next up we got the Indianapolis Colts and the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, so I definitely got to go Ravens. I definitely got to go Ravens again. Lamar is playing decent. The team's playing decent. They're not amazing. They're not playing where I thought they would be playing, but they're definitely competitive. So not much of a reason. If I just had to pick one or the other, I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
Yeah, I think it would be a little bit more competitive if Anthony Richardson was playing, but he's in the concussion protocol, and I don't know if he's going to be back in time for that.
For sure.
And while Gardner Minshew is a good backup quarterback, he is not he's not a starter. So, yeah. Okay. Ravens.
Next one. We'll start zooming through a couple of these unless we see some highlighted areas because I see one with my jersey on it. Atlanta Falcons, Detroit Lions.
I think this one could really go either way.
Yep.
Because of the Falcons and how they're playing, Arthur Smith and his run scheme, defense is playing well enough. I think it'll really fall on the Lions to be able to put up the points and get the Falcons out of their normal game plan to make it interesting. I'm going to go with the Lions just because I'm all about Dan Campbell, and he's fighting Dan Campbell's are where it's at. For sure.
Only Campbell I like is soup. So I'll take the Falcons. I'll take the Falcons on this one. Again, I do like the way Ritter's playing just because it was unexpected. Not having an MVP season, not an elite QB, but he is definitely managing the game. He's playing well. And then Bijan's playing. He's balling.
He's balling.
Give him space.
Can't argue with that.
He's gonna break your ankles and he's gonna get 10, 15 yards. It's fun to watch. The next one. Oh no, you go. You got it.
Next up, Buffalo Bills and the Washington Commanders.
You go.
I mean, you got Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and they're putting it together. Washington is still figuring it out, so I got to go with the Bills.
Yeah. I go with the Bills too. Not too impressed with Josh Allen right now.
No.
He's having this year what Dak had last year. Definitely turning the ball over a little bit, but I think overall the team is just a better team than the Commanders. When you have a name like the Commanders, I'm probably just not going to choose you often. It doesn't matter what's going on.
There's that. I think the real problem is he's having the same problem Tony Romo had that one year. He was messing around with Jessica Simpson. Just distracted.
Yeah,
you
get
not
distracted.
fully focused.
Yeah, find that. Get that crush going. Get that girl in the house, and it's tough to pay attention. We watch it over and over. Next up, so we got Houston. This is tough. Maybe not. It's not tough actually.
No,
Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars. When I said it's tough, I meant just looking at Houston. It's tough.
That is true.
Yeah, Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars.
I mean, yeah, I think this is a big Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley bounce back game.
Yes.
It's kind of rough for them the last game. Like I said, the Chiefs just destroyed them, and I think they're going to come out with something to prove.
Yep.
Houston's offensive line, they got 3 of their starters who are out, so they're playing with a rookie with a cobbled together line. I don't think there's really much of a competition here.
Agree. Nothing even go. Calvin Ridley's he's He's the guy. Again, watching Falcons let him go, I thought that was a sign of tanking.
Suspended for a whole year for gambling,
Yeah,
and now they're just
but
giving 6
yeah,
games. What
yeah,
nonsense is that?
but yeah, for sure. That's the tough part. He's bouncing back and he's looking good doing it.
Looking really good.
Looking good. And I again, I guess when you weren't sure what your QB is gonna be like, you took a risk to rebuild a little bit.
Yeah.
But Calvin Ridley's, I've always thought he was one of the guys.
Oh, yeah.
He was always across from Julio, so obviously, he didn't get the shine he probably should have got from the get go. He had at first I thought he's gonna be a Michael Crabtree type player, but he's Julio.
Yeah.
He's a jump ball guy. He's good. So yeah, I'll take the same thing.
Yeah, next up, Tennessee Titans and the Cleveland Browns.
I am taking the Browns. I'm taking the Browns, man. Deshaun's not playing where he needs to play. I think he finally does. I think Amari has a hot game, and I'm just taking the Browns because I just think they're trending up. They're not playing amazing, but they're trending
even
up.
with Nick Chubb.
Yeah, so Chubb, so fall back to last week. Definitely, thoughts, prayers. Chubb's, that was tough. That was disgusting. A disgusting accident that happened, man. So hopefully, hoping for a speedy recovery. But Chubb's being out, it looks like Hunt's there. And I think
Hunt, they got a rookie, Jerome Ford, as well.
Okay, yeah. So I don't even know that. But I think Hunt coming in will still provide a small spark. I think he still has a little bit left in his tank. And he was fun to watch back when he was obviously a Chief and then a Brown. Yeah, so I still think they take it. I think they play for Chubb. I think they play. They're gonna have some inspired football. I'm not crowning them an amazing team by any means, but I just got them taking this one.
Yeah, I'm going with the other side on this one. The Tennessee Titans, their defense is like number 1 in the league in stopping the run. And Deshaun, as you already talked about, he is not looking great. So if they're forcing him to throw the ball a bunch and he's not able to connect with his wide receivers, they might have a long day. And that means King Henry is going to be pounding the rock for 30 touches and 100+ yards and a couple of touchdowns. I don't know. I mean, the Browns defense is not a joke either, but I'm going to lean towards the Titans on this one.
Okay. And yeah, that could be a toss up for sure. I'm rooting for, I'm not rooting for either. I'm going for the Browns to win. But I could see that again. Derek's always dangerous.
Yep.
So yeah. The next game is Carolina Panthers and the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, Carolina hasn't looked too good. They got who's their coach there? I think it's Frank Reich, who left the Colts, and he's brought his lackadaisical, uninteresting offense with a rookie who needs a little more of a spark. And Seattle, they brought it last week, and they put it back together.
For sure.
So I mean, this Seattle for me. They just got the playmakers, and Carolina, they ain't got much on offense.
Run the next one. I'm with you.
Next up, we got the Dallas Cowboys, 2-0 Dallas Cowboys, and the Arizona Cardinals.
We got the
team tank.
3-0 Dallas Cowboys. We got the 3-0 Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys will win. They will win dominantly. It will be another impressive defensive showing. I think CeeDee Lamb gets a touchdown. I think CeeDee Lamb's been
at least one.
Yeah, he's been wanting it. He wants the ball. He wants to be that guy. He's definitely. I know he's whispering in Dak's ear. Give me that ball. Give me that ball. When he had a heck of a game last week, so I think he continues to show out.
This is the defense that just let Daniel Jones come back from 20-0 to beat them. So
for sure,
I mean, I agree. It's not going to be much of a competition.
Yeah.
Josh Dobbs is the quarterback on the other side, who they picked up the same week they started the season.
Yeah.
I think the boys are going to have a field day.
I'm with you. That's my easy pick.
All right.
So we got Chicago Bears at the Chiefs.
Hot boo-boo and the Chiefs. Yes. Justin Fields, he's supposed to be making a leap this year, and he ain't. And I don't know that it's necessarily his fault.
Yeah.
I think it falls a lot on the coaching because he's only had like 2 or 3 QB design runs to start out the year, which that's like his bread and butter.
Yep.
And so they're not playing to his strengths, and it has looked rough.
Agree.
So I mean, this is another easy pick. I feel like there's going to be a lot of lopsided games this week.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely think the Bears are lacking. There's also reports that there were some issues going on today. It looks like there were some raids that went down. I don't know to the extent, but I think there's definitely some personnel issues. Definitely some personnel issues that
Not surprising.
even off the field, you know.
Hey, that comes onto the field.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're just it's just what they've got. You know, they're getting close to becoming the Raiders, where they're just the leadership there just not going to know how to run a team. You know, and this is a guy who has Jerry Jones as his owner. But you know, the ownership out there is struggling. I don't know what's happening. I agree. I think Fields needs a fresh scenery. You know, he needs to go learn a year or two under somebody, and I think he has the talent. I think he can be the guy.
Yeah, I agree.
He needs a Geno Smith comeback.
But it's the Chiefs for sure on this game.
Agree.
Next up, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Las Vegas Raiders.
Tough as it is, I got Pittsburgh. Winning. Not gonna say much about it. TJ Watt. Definitely want to see. I don't think Kenny Pickett's the QB of the future.
No.
But I think they do enough to win.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Las Vegas Raiders just don't inspire any kind of confidence.
That too.
You got Jimmy G on the other side.
I don't hate Jimmy G.
I don't mind Jimmy G, but it's they haven't looked inspired at all. I know Devontae Adams got a little banged up in the last game. If he's fine, maybe it'll be a competition, but you got that Steelers defense, and they've been looking good.
It's time to send Devontae somewhere. He needs to go. He needs some lights on him. He needs to go to the Cowboys. He needs to go to the Chargers. You know, he needs to go somewhere where he can show out for sure.
Yeah, where he has a reason to compete, because there ain't nothing to compete for in Vegas.
Agree. I said Chargers. I meant Rams, but Chargers too.
Next up, we got the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I think this is going to be my pick that I'm taking a risk on. Not the normal. I'm gonna take the Bucs.
All right.
I'm gonna take the Bucs. I think the Eagles should be the favorite. I know why the Eagles are the favorite.
Yes.
But I'm gonna go with the Bucs, and it's more of a. I just think it's gonna be one of those games that we finally see the underdog win. So I think the Bucs take it.
I like the pick. I'm going with the Eagles. I'll go with the sure money this time around.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts figuring it out, but I like where you're going with that one.
Yeah. And then last game of the week.
Monday Night Football.
The Monday Night Football has the potential to be exciting. But if Burrow's hurt, we'll see. The Los Angeles Rams at the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm not even going to answer. I'll give a quick answer. I think the Rams win. I'll let you. Elaborate.
It really just comes down to if Joe Burrow is going to show up, and if he shows up, is he healthy? Is he going to finally get back on track, because they have looked so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, T. Higgins had a great week with like 2 touchdowns and over 60 yards last week, but Jamar Chase, the man, has been just shut out, non-existent. We're still looking for him. He's on milk cartons everywhere around the U.S.
Yes, it's sad. I love him too, man.
And he's such an electrifying player. So much fun to watch, bringing life in Cincinnati. And, there's nothing going on there. So I guess it really depends on Cincinnati showing up. But the way they played, I mean, it's going to be the Rams are going to take this one.
Yeah.
Puka Nacua.
Exactly. So going into the last, second to last, but basically the last big segment of our podcast, we will start talking about fantasy teams. So those who don't know, JSwear and myself, we have grown up together. We join leagues together. We watch football together, all that good stuff. So we have the opportunity to be competitive with some of the other homies, and we're going to make sure that you guys get an idea of what we think fantasy-wise. Again, we're not experts. We're having fun and just giving our 2 cents. So argue with us. Go in the comment section. Argue with us. Debate us. Tell us why the Cowboys are bad to you. I know I'm going to hear it. So
yes, please tell us about how bad the Cowboys
how bad,
are. Let the haters come
how
out.
bad we still will be forever.
I am a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Yes, yeah. We are Dallas. We are from Dallas.
Born and raised.
We're definitely going to have some strong opinions, but also we want to be fair, and we want to we want to speak facts as well. So we won't always be homers, but we'll have our moments. We're gonna go into the fantasy factory. So this will be the section where we talk about fantasy football. We might talk about a little bit about our personal experiences with fantasy, but today, we're gonna specifically touch points on the fantasy highs, the top fantasy producers. When you look at it, I'll start with the QBs. In week 1, it was Tua. Tua popped off. You saw Tua, you saw Mac Jones, Jordan Love, and they were basically the top 3 from a QB perspective. From a running back perspective, Aaron Jones, surprisingly.
Yep, old man Jones.
Yeah, Austin Eckler and CMC. You can't go wrong with Christian McCaffrey. I do want to give a special shout out to Tony Pollard right there on that list. Number 5 in scoring, again, depending on the type of league you got.
But he didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, so he did great. And then the sleeper on there, and we'll talk about it a little bit more, but there's a sleeper on that list. And then we had the wide receivers. We're not going to go over the entire list. Tyreek Hill. Hill. All you need to know, scored more points than probably some of y'all's entire team.
Probably.
And then even put Ayuk right there. Put both of them together. They definitely scored more than your entire team.
Definitely.
So that's a good one. So James, I'll let you take the next week.
All right, week 2 we had a surprise with Daniel Jones showing up there with Arizona, just handing him the victory, letting him do and have his way with them in the second half. Kirk Cousins is on there with his comeback with the Eagles with 28.5 fantasy points. And a big shocker in the top 3 is Russell Wilson.
I will stop you because I meant to say it when you talked about the Broncos. Russ was not the reason they lost last week. He had an interception that I think it was tight end should have caught, and it was taken back. But I think he played solid last week, and I don't think he's going to be as bad as last year. Not saying that's much, but I will say this: to your point, surprisingly he was up there. But I did think he had a good game last week.
Yes,
despite losing.
Then we'll move over to the running backs, and a shocker at the RB over 1 on the week is going to be Brian Robinson of the Commanders. 2 touchdowns, 67 yards, had a couple receptions as well for 43 yards. Looking really good. Another surprise who people weren't drafting high is going to be Kyron Williams of the Los Angeles Rams with 28 points. They literally benched Cam Akers right before the game and said, hey, take it away, Kyron, and he ran with it. And then third was Saquon Barkley, who had the best game he's had in a while, but naturally he got hurt.
And I'll throw in the number 4 spot. And the reason is because this does relate to our specific fantasy league. Swift was dropped in our league the week after week 1. He was dropped in our league, and the guy that I am facing picked him up.
Yeah.
He picked him up and almost whooped me. If it wasn't for Mike Evans, I forgot who else popped off, but I almost got worked because of Swift and how great Swift played. He did have a great game. I don't think it carries that far. I think it slows down. There's something going on with Jalen. He's not throwing like he should be.
No,
he's not using his
off.
legs. Yeah, he's definitely. I don't know if he wants to stay healthy for the the beachfront house he's buying with all that money. But he's definitely not playing like Jalen of last year.
Hey, but that's why you got to stay on that waiver wire right there. You never know when you pick up that random guy who goes off for 20-something points.
And you are 100% correct. And then we should have one more, right?
Yep, wide receivers.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, and the top wide receiver is Keenan Allen, the ageless Keenan Allen. I feel like he's got to be in his mid-30s, older than us, but he is still putting in that work. 31 points. Second place, my new favorite player, Puka Nacua of the Rams, coming out of nowhere with 30 points. Like, dude is just killing it. And not much to say. And then, I'll let you talk about number 3, your boy right there.
I don't even have the sheet on me. Who is number 3?
Mike Evans.
Okay, yeah, that should have been simple.
29 points.
Yep. Mike Evans with 29. Mike, I'm telling you, it's my guy. This is my guy. Y'all might see me in a Mike Evans jersey. I'm loving what I'm seeing. 6 for 8. He almost had the same stat line as the week before. He's just balling out. My man is balling out. He's doing great. He's on fire. He's on fire. There's not much to say. There's not much to say. I think as long as Baker feeds him, as long as Baker keeps his mind right, Mike Evans has that opportunity. He's eventually going to get doubled, so they'll take some of the balls away from him. But I think overall, he's going to be a producer, and he's gonna score. He's going to be a top. I think he was wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
Going into fantasy, he's definitely number 1 for sure.
Definitely.
So yeah, so man, again, this kind of wraps up our first podcast. We're
First
gonna go
podcast in the books.
We are gonna have again, we're our podcast is Gametime and Headlines. So we're definitely not going to stick specifically to sports, but that will be for the most part the majority. Right now, obviously, it's football season, so we're talking a lot about football. We will be talking about the NBA when it rolls around.
Oh yes.
Somebody somewhere else will talk about the WNBA. And then, we actually, if there's something crazy that goes on, we'll definitely touch base on that. But I want to get into a little bit of every sport.
Yeah.
I enjoy every sport casually, and that's kind of what this podcast is about. Just us talking about some highlights. If we were podcasting when Messi came to the States, we would have talked about Messi. You know,
Definitely.
So we are gonna have a point where we discuss other things that are going on. Whether it's in the news, we will stray away from politics and things of that sort. But if there's anything crazy that goes on in the news that we want to touch base on, anything wild in this world that we see,
there's plenty.
If James is scrolling through TikTok and he sees armadillo fighting a cobra and it was interesting, we'll talk about it. You know, so
I'll find it.
Yeah, so we're definitely gonna talk about that. I think we're talking right now. This is kind of the back end of the pod. I think we're talking about recording the podcast and if possible releasing same day.
Yeah.
The hope is Wednesdays because that gives us time. Schedule wise, Tuesday didn't work out for us, but we want to be able to do it after the football week, which is after Monday. And then I want to try to get it posted Wednesday night or Thursday morning because obviously then Thursday goes into the next week of football. When we switch into other sports, it may change a little bit because other sports there's no such thing as weeks. They're just
right.
every other day there's a game. So again, that's kind of where we're at. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. We'll have the channel. We'll have the channel up and running today. We'll have an Instagram. We'll have a Twitter. Hopefully a TikTok too, just where we can post some of the highlights of the podcast.
Yes, like, comment, share, subscribe, all of those YouTube things.
Support. Appreciate the support. If you want to connect with us, again, YouTube's going to be first. It's going to be Gametime and Headlines. It'll be this logo right here. You should see it. We'll also on the YouTube channel in the description. We'll put our personal links if you want to follow us on Twitter. You see
X. You mean X?
It's tough. Twitter. Nah. But as you see in this room, we're into a lot of different things. There's Pokemon, there's animes, which I know Pokemon's an anime, but we're into trading cards, we're into animes, we're into Funko Pops and the collectibles. But we're, big sports guys. And so we want to just share that love in general. And so we'll link where you can, follow us and vibe with us and see our other interests and just chat and connect with us. So again, we appreciate it, man. If y'all enjoyed the podcast, don't forget, subscribe, comment, like, turn on those notifications. Also share it with one of the homies, share it with a friend of yours. And let's get this thing growing. So appreciate you guys. James, wrapped it up. Appreciate you, y'all. James and I have put a lot of work into this. James did a lot of dirty work today. He was really grinding and making sure we're on top of things. And so appreciate it. I'm excited with where we're going. You'll see guests on here too. We're talking about having some of the fantasy football homies on here. We're not going to have any of the ones that beat us that week. We'll bring someone that we beat so we can trash talk them. We're also going to have some other sports fanatic homies that come in. And to James's point, man, if we get the opportunity and we can grow and we can get some more notable people, we'll bring them on.
Definitely.
All right,
Make
brother.
it happen.
You want to close this out?
Hey, thank you guys. Enjoyed the time and look forward to see you guys next week.
Later.